Hello everyone, welcome back. In this part, we're going to talk about what is strict mode and how we can use this in our JavaScript projects. First of all, let's say here we have some codes that we can run. For example, we have this A to B 2 and we console log that. And if we run this, you can see that we got this result. But as you know, and we have talked about this, when we declaring variable, we need to use one of three keywords of let, var, or const. And by not doing this and not using these keywords to declare the variable, our code is not very efficient and good. But if we run this program, as you see, we got our result. But the thing that we can use here is our strict mode. And by using strict mode, it's going to prevent us doing these kind of mistakes. So when we have our strict mode in our code, it's going to help us to make our code better and prevent mistakes that make our code not very good. So how we can use that strict mode in our projects? When we want our strict mode to start, for example, in this case, we want all of our code to be run in strict mode. Simply, we're going to have this string of use strict above of our code. And by doing this, all of the code below of this and this scope, which is the file scope, is going to run on strict mode. And now this time, if we run, you can see we got error of A is not defined. But if we make this not executable and run again, you can see that we got the result. So this is going to say us we need to use one of the three keywords of var, let, or const based on our use right here. So let's say we're going to declare this with var, and now if we run this time, you can see that we got the result. As same as this, we can use our let keyword right here. Again, our code is going to be run. And at the last, if we have our const keyword, we're going to see the result. But as I told you, this string of use strict is going to make the scope to run in strict mode. So what I mean, let's say here we have simple function with name of b, which inside of this, we're going to create some variable. Let's say we have variable of c to be 0, and we simply console log that c the line after that. And let's actually call our b function here. Now, because we have our strict mode right here, if we run, it's going to run all of the program in strict mode. So if we delete this const from here and have this right here and run our code, you can see that we got this error. But if we have this use strict here inside of our function and run our code, you can see that we got the result of C is not defined. And because our JavaScript is going to run line by line, you know that here should be checked before of this C. But because we don't have this use strict and use strict is only in this scope, so these are going to run normally. But this scope, which is inside of our function, is going to run in strict. So if we have, for example, this let right here for declaring our C variable and then run again, you can see that we got both results of 2 for our A variable and 0 for our C variable. And pay attention that what we mean as variable is going to contain our objects, arrays, and other things that we have. For example, here, let's say we have simple array of numbers from 1 to 5. If we run this again, you can see that we got that error. But we can use this with both of let, var, or if we want that to be constant, we can use our const keyword. So if we run this time, you can see that we got the result. And as same as this, we need to have our objects to be in the same role too. So let's say here we have the name of a Tom inside of our object, and let's say we got the age to be 23. If we run this, you can see that we got this result. But if we remove this let from here and run again, let's clear our console and run again. You can see that we got the same error of A is not defined. Another thing that we can talk about in this part is our parameters and duplicating a parameter. So let's say here we have two parameters, A and A. If we don't use our strict mode right here and run our code, you can see that we are not going to get any errors and our code is going to be run. But you know that this is not the right thing to do. And by using our strict mode, if we run, you can see that we got error of duplicate parameter name not allowed. So this is going to remind us that we should change the name of our parameters and make them different from each other. Next thing that we're going to talk about is related for our eval function. So let's say at first we don't have our use strict mode, and here we're going to define our x to be number 2, and then we simply console log our x. And here if we run, you can see that we got the result of 2, because as you know, eval is going to run but string right here as a statement inside of our JavaScript. But if we have this in strict mode, as you expect, if we run, you can see that we got error of x is not defined. But here in eval, if we use this let or var keywords right here, you can see again we got this result of x is not defined. Let's check var 2. You can see again we got that result. And if we have our const keyword right here too, if we run, you can see again we got the error. Next thing that we're going to talk about is about our this keyword. So let's say here we have simple function with the name of A, which inside of this, we're going to console log simply this function into our console. So if we call our function and remove our use strict and run, you can see that we got this result coming right here. But this keyword in strict mode behaves a little different. So if we use this in strict mode and run our code, you can see that we got the result of undefined, because functions in strict mode will going to returning undefined, and functions in normal mode are going to return the global object that we have, which is our window for us. So as you see right here, this is our global object right here, which we have in our console. But when we use in strict mode, it's going to return the undefined for us. The next and last thing that we're going to talk about is our reserved keywords in JavaScript in strict mode. So as you know, we can create all of the variables that we want, naming literally anything that we want. For example, let's say we have this A, we want this to be any random name, we can do that. But in strict mode, we're going to have a bunch of keywords that we cannot use them to create variable with them, which are going to be this implements. If we run, you can see that we got the error, which here if you read, you see that we got reserved word to using in a variable name. After this, we're going to have the interface, which is going to give us the same result as before. We got the let keyword right here, which is going to again give us the same error. After this, we have the package, we have the private, we have protected, public, and at the last, this yield keyword. But if we don't have our strict mode and run, you can see that we can create them and do anything that we want. So here we have our variable, and if we run, you can see that we got the result, and we can use that name and that word, which is reserved word, in our JavaScript. So it's very better to use this use strict along of your projects and codes, so you could code better and more understandable and better executable codes in your application. Please give a like and subscribe to catch next videos.